Zlurpcast!
KwikHitz. I think it's number 10. I don't know. The description will say the correct number. I think it's 10. Doesn't matter though. We take a little moment, instead of covering one thing for the whole episode of Zlurpcast TV, we pick one thing, or in Biran's case, multiple, and it's no longer a quick hit, it's a long hit. Or a bong hit in Xtreme's case. Or a dong hit in Mike's case.
It's medicinal for Xtreme though, so it's okay.
Or I'll take a Fong hit, Fong's Pizza in Des Moines, very good place.
Not as good as the taco place though, right?
No, Tasty Tacos is the best. Well, for that, it's great. Taste of New York Pizza is my favorite pizza place too.
Fold the pizza.
It is foldable, yeah.
Okay.
Now I'll fold it, but then if I get extra and make it at home or like reheat it in the toaster oven, you lose the fold because then it becomes crispy, which is fine. Still really good, but it's not the foldable anymore once you.
New York style is secretly my favorite style of pizza, but I have to say deep dish is.
It's publicly my favorite.
Yeah, I love it. Well, quick hits covering something. Who would like to begin?
I'll go.
Okay, Biran. Let's try to keep this under 15 minutes.
This will be maybe. So lately, I've been playing a series of games called Persona. It's a Japanese role-playing game, which is half dungeon crawler, half social simulator.
I know Persona. I've heard good things about it.
Yes, it is my favorite game series of all time. And if anyone's a big video game fan, they'll notice that the Xbox summer event announced that the 3 most recent games are coming out on Xbox for the first time. They used to be exclusive to Sony platforms, going back to the PlayStation 1 or PSX, if you're familiar with that. I've played them all. Persona 4, which is the penultimate version, is my favorite. I have all versions here. They start on PS1, but I got the PlayStation Portable versions. And then there's PS3 debuted on PlayStation 2, but also came out on PlayStation Portable. PlayStation 4 came out on PlayStation 2, but also came out on PlayStation Vita. And then PS5 is the most current one, or PS4, I'm sorry, is Persona 5. All very similar. High school, investigating murders, building up social ranks. So you do activities with your high school friends to get closer with them. And by doing that, you're able to summon more powerful demons to help you in dungeons.
Do you collect panties in this game, or is that a different one?
That's a different one. There are romance options in this game. And in Persona 5, I actually romanced everyone possible, which caused a problem at the Valentine's Day event when they all showed up at the same time.
Oh, what'd you do?
They ended up beating me up and leaving me. And that was fair. But in Persona 4, I'm a one girl guy, so I stuck with Chie Satonaka because she has a passion for steak.
Oh, nice. They didn't have that in the early versions, right?
The romance wasn't there, but there was the social links were there, but you didn't actually get to romance someone. The early ones, Persona 1 and 2, were very more primitive, where it's like a first person perspective in the dungeon. And it was obviously more primitive, but still the same thing there. It's all part of this Atlas games have they're called the Shin Megami Tensei universe it's basically a lot of demons and religion mixed up together. But yeah, it's great. Persona 5 is the easiest to onboard with. It's the most normie friendly. You can get it on PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4 only at this point, but it is coming out on Xbox. I highly recommend.
Are they still making games for PS4?
Yes, because you can't get a PlayStation 5 in the store. So there were games that were announced as PS5 exclusive that they've downgraded and made to work on PS4.
Wow.
Xbox, because they did like 2 versions. They have the Series X, which is the top end one, which is, you can see it right there. and they did the Series S, which is a downscaled version that is commonly available. The Series X you can't find, the Series S you can, and it's lower performance, but it's better than an Xbox, the Xbox X. But yeah, this is going to be a very long console generation.
Yeah, it's really weird, the whole supply and demand with the current. I don't understand why it's so hard to get these.
Yeah, and the only reason I got the Series X is because friend of the show and often co-host Ryan had an extra pre-order, so he bought it and I bought it off him, so I've had it for a while. And it's
We
great.
saw him last week, right?
Yes, just last week. If you called into the show the prior week, you would know that.
And if you called the week before, you'd ask, why are you guys going to wear the same clothes 2 weeks in a row?
Yes. And then we talked about
We're like,
cleanliness and why I
every
have
day.
2 giant zits because I don't wash
Well, Mike has this right. And why is Biran's zit still not down? It's been 3 fucking weeks.
They've developed sentience. But no, they're great. I love portable systems so much. Because they seem to have more longevity than the regular systems because you just pick up and play. But if you can still find a PlayStation Vita, this is probably my favorite game of all time, PlayStation 4 Gold. What they do is they release the game and then a deluxe version. This is the deluxe version. Track this down if you can and get it. It is my favorite.
Is it too hard to play that on a small screen though?
No, because it's all the action's turn-based. So there's no pressure on it. So no, it's great.
Okay. I found that to be a bit of a difficulty with the Switch Lights. Is
yes, some
depending
games
on
are
the game,
tough.
it's like this clearly is not made. I mean,
Right.
Again, they're not made to be on the small screen, but it's like I can't read that shit.
Right. That's why they go, well, they'll play it on the regular Switch. But if you just have a Switch Lite, then you're kind of stuck.
Yeah, you get what you
That
get,
was
yeah.
Super Mario Strikers I picked up, and it's not so good on the portable.
The new soccer game.
Yeah, it's much better on the big screen.
Okay. That seems like actually that would be good on the small. No.
It's okay, but no. But
Okay.
that other game I told you about earlier, the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game just came out.
Yeah.
Fine on the small because it's so chaotic. You can barely tell what's going on anyway.
Well, and if it's made kind of old school anyway, side scroller, then that's fine. For what it is.
You just mash it out.
Very cool. So Biran recommends the entire Persona series. Start with 5 if you're new to getting into it. If you played the early ones, 1 and 2, is that a game that if I was playing Metal Gear Solid Revolver Ocelot would say, I see you enjoy Persona? And
I see that you're a weird weeaboo. That's still one of the greatest moments in video games.
Oh my God. You put your controller
No, it was Psycho
down.
Mantis. It was Psycho Mantis.
Psycho Mantis, not Revolver. Psycho Mantis would, you put your controller down and he reads your mind. And he's
reading your save files.
We didn't know he's reading the memory card.
Right.
He tells you the games you're into. He reads your fucking mind.
I see you like Castlevania.
He's like, oh, you like Castlevania.
He looks at the Konami games that are on your save thing.
He looked at the memory card and he saw him. Like, I thought he really knew. I was excited about that. Very cool. So check out Persona. Who wants to go next?
I'll go next. Okay. Go ahead, Xtreme.
Xtreme put his hand up, but Mike spoke up. So
I got Stormweavers. It was a
dwarf
Kickstarter.
based, of course.
Yes, so it's a dwarf solo RPG dungeon crawler type thing. It's kind of like the old hero books. So really the whole game is this book, which is pretty thick. But it comes with some really cheap tiles that are super flimsy and little counter paper,
little men's
of all the people you would run into. But yeah, you just go on your little adventure, and then depending on what happens in your battle, you skip to the next one, kind of like a choose your own adventure thing. And you can play through it multiple times and come up with all kinds of cool stuff. So I've only dabbled in it. I haven't really started playing yet, but
we see the bookmark.
fun.
Show us where the bookmark's at.
Well, the bookmark is deceiving because you might turn to page 450, you found like a fucking tunnel or some shit,
And it also has the quick reference bookmark.
So the tiles are separate, or is that in the book?
Tiles are separate.
Okay.
But in the book, I mean, if you really wanted to, you could play on the book. It does have.
Okay, that's what I was getting at. For some reason, I thought those things generally have maps in the book.
But it's easier to use the tiles because they'll sit
But
flat.
what if it was spiral bound? That would be better.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Hard to get
It's-
spiral bound that thick though.
Yeah, that's several spiral bounds. But then it's now instead of turn to page 450, turn to book 6, page 30. It's like, oh man, this is a bit much now.
The pages aren't numbered, so I can't tell you. But
When you first showed me that book Xtreme, that at the top, is that like what is that, like the mouth of that thing he's fighting?
yeah, it's like a giant worm type.
I thought that was hollow at first. I thought like that was part of it.
Put your wiener in it.
Well, Mike, you could put yours in there. Mine wouldn't fit, but
Yeah, so
you
it's
know, I'll smush it.
it's dwarf based, and I have a bunch of miniatures that maybe someday I'll paint up and use for it, but otherwise it has little counters.
That's cool.
It's a lot of fun.
Nice. Stormweavers. Let's go.
Stormweavers. But I did notice as I was doing research for this, I think I was supposed to get 2 custom D6 with my Kickstarter, and I did not.
How much was it?
I don't even remember. It was a long time ago.
300?
I don't think it was, I don't think it
400?
was very much. No, not at all. I think it was like 40, 50.
Okay. Nice.
Is it American made?
I'm guessing
getting an
Polish.
author. He looks Polish. So
Yeah.
Yeah, it is not. It was originally in a different language. Maybe it was Polish. I'm not sure. But this was the English version that they did the Kickstarter for.
Written by Powell. He would be Paul, correct?
Pavel.
Sure.
Powell. I think if that thing was hollow, that's like a little mini dice tower. Drop the dice in there, but you didn't get the dice, so don't worry about it.
Yeah. I mean, I'll have trouble finding D6 somewhere around.
Yeah, you know, I don't even know a guy for that.
Yeah.
What's it called again, Xtreme?
Stormweavers.
Can you actually buy it?
Yes, but it sounds like you have to email the guy to buy it.
What?
Like
There is a
Death Pass, you
website,
know?
but people have complained that you can't.
That's out of print, Mike. This one's still available. Mine's more rare. Stormweaver book 2 is out already?
I don't know anything about a book 2. I'm in the Facebook group. There's no mention of a book 2.
I'm just telling you, book
that's
2.
the English version though.
Book 2 is out. Book 2, Warformed by Bryce O'Connor.
That sounds more American.
I bet it's a different game. I think it's a book. It had nothing to do with it at all. But anyway,
Is Stormweavers fun to play? Let's see what the
Stormweaver is a pretty cool band.
Yeah.
but their covers of previous Stormweaver songs sound exactly like the originals.
The original, yeah, but nothing's going to beat their original album anyway. So why even try? Very nice, Xtreme. Is it all text, or is there any like visuals in there?
Yeah, I mean, it's mostly text, but it's formatted pretty well, so it's like interesting. It's not just like big blocks of text.
No,
So are those boxes different things you would turn to, or is that in order right there?
No, it's different things you would turn to, and then like whatever happened, like you can turn to like 143 if that happened. And
now, when you play this by yourself, do you do it with different voices?
no, because there's only one character you're playing. You're just playing one single dwarf who's going through the whole world, fighting all kinds of stuff.
I hope that when you get to the end, it's like this was all a dream.
Patrick Duffy comes out of the shower.
Just like flipping to the end, though, there's like multiple epilogues. So that's kind of-
Theoretically,
Don't,
we could all have-
don't show that. I'll blur that out in post.
Yeah, you can blur that out. So
That
very
looks cool. So you've done other games sort of like that, haven't you?
Yeah, similar games, but this is the first like when I backed this one because it was like the biggest fully formed version. Because usually they're really generic. Like I played a lot of 4 Against Darkness, which is like a pencil and paper type thing, but really a lot of that you're kind of depending on yourself to do it. Where this is like you're just following
Walks you through
along
it.
in the book.
Yeah, because you those other ones you had to like make your own graph paper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That seems cool.
Yeah, I found it here. See the Kickstarter.
I'd like to
Warsaw-
flick. Yeah, I'd like to flick through it, as the Brits say, next time I'm over by you.
Well, then you ruin it.
Well, no, I just
Yeah,
want
I
to take a
mean-
look at it and see if it's worth pursuing.
Really, the entire game is this book, but if you have all the tiles and everything, it's a pretty small box, which is kind of nice. It doesn't take up a lot of space. And I mean, there's enough space in the box that if I do get the miniatures ready, they'll all fit in there too. So that'd be pretty cool.
Is there any weird translations in the game as far as things that didn't port over into English very well?
Like,
haven't
do
found
you
any
want
yet.
to make
Like-
Suck Berserker?
Well, I'm just saying because like in the opening of the Kickstarter page here, it says, I mean, and again, not a knock on it, looks really cool. My name is Timon. I am a mercenary soldier of the Free Dwarven Company in the service of King Ernan. Let me tell you a bit about my adventures and be a guide in this dangerous land. It seems very just cut and dry. Like,
Well, I
Like a
mean,
Google Translate?
That's kind of the dwarven way, though, right?
what's that,
Very-
Xtreme?
Very Spartan into the
Dwarven
point.
way.
Yeah, okay, yeah, there you go, Dwarven way. Mayamo
They put beards
Extreme.
on their tanks.
If you wanted to talk about beards on tanks, you would have called 2 weeks ago. When our last week's episode was about beards on tanks. Mayamo Extreme is how it starts in my version.
Hola, como estás?
Mayamo Extremo.
Jamapel Biran. Oh, by the way, I
Alright,
just found
anything
out my
else?
Persona 2 is sealed.
Ooh.
Yeah. Probably worth 20
worth
bucks.
more. Yeah. Too bad it's not your turn to talk, Fat Finley.
Sorry. I'll fix this in the edit.
If you can say that to Quick Hits 11 or fix it in post, whatever. Mike, do you want to go or should I?
I'll go.
Okay.
I have as many long time watchers, listeners have
Yeah,
known
don't say
I
fans.
teach.
There's no fans. They just happen to
Well, no,
watch.
we have
there's
Hoagie, and that's
we
it.
have Alex Schutte,
Alex Shitty,
and,
Hoagie, and
Johan.
Johan.
Those three.
Yes.
There's a few.
Well, anyways, I'm a teacher, so I get some time off between semesters, and I have been when I was in grad school, my reading for pleasure a lot of times was role-playing supplements. So I picked this up from Grognard's.
In Ross, Illinois.
Yes. It's if you look at this, it's called Powered by the Apocalypse. And what this is the apocalypse setting, or what they call the apocalypse engine. It's a kind of a generic role-playing mechanic, and it's very story driven. Okay, so like in D&D, you've got stats and you've got all these abilities and all this stuff. In these games, it's a little bit more open-ended, and it's very rules light. And the basic mechanic, and again, if you're watching a long time watcher, it's the same mechanic that you see in Techno Bowl. Is if you want to do something, you roll 2d6. On a 6 or less, you fail. On a 10 or more, you succeed brilliantly. And on a 7 to 9,
You do it barely.
you do it, but there's a consequence, and that's where the role playing comes in. So like if you wanted, there's a lot of different variations of the worlds for this system, and one of the first one I got like 5 years ago at Gen Con is called Dungeon World. And so if you're playing that, you would you're attacking, and like just say there's a dragon or wizard or something who's going to throw a fireball at someone you're supposed to protect, and you're like, I'm going to throw my shield in front of it, and you roll like if you rolled a 6, they'd hit the person, they would burn up, and if you rolled a 10, it would be successful. But if you rolled the 7 to 9, a good GM would give you a couple of options, and you're like, you can either take the damage and the person is safe, or you can it's a partial success, so you block some of it, but you'll still take some damage and that other person. So there's always a consequence, and a lot of times it's you give the player a choice, and they get to kind of pick which if it's a partial success, what they're going to do. And then
I like that because
sometimes
sometimes a choice might hurt the whole party, or sometimes the choice might be just for you.
Yeah.
and you can decide if you want to be a nice guy or a dick with those choices.
Exactly. And again, it's like I said, it's very these games, I've run a few of them, they're very mechanics light, and emphasis on the story, and you always like they're really big into the backstory, and a lot of times you can get bonuses if you can explain like why, like if it's a really crucial role, the player can say, well, and give you like a backstory as to why they might get an extra bonus to this role because of something they've done in the past.
It's like
that helps build the backstory of the character.
Right? Sell me on why you think it should happen.
Yeah, you can bullshit your way to success. I love that.
Yes, exactly. Which we've seen that. I've seen that in some other games I've played way back when. So.
I remember doing
Anyways,
that in D&D. I used to do that with Todd, where I would say, I did not violate my alignment because I'm too stupid by my intelligence score to know otherwise.
Yeah. So anyways, I really love Dungeon World, and I was going to bring it to this and I just forgot. And then I saw this at Grognard's, and I had just finished watching Stranger Things, and I was rewatching the Fear Street movies on Netflix, and I was like, yeah.
Nostalgia hit
this game, Monster of the Week,
Yeah,
ties into that, where you are characters and there's monsters.
Do you find, so like when you say you read role-playing supplements without playing technically,
yeah.
Do you still find like the same level of enjoyment, or is it just different? How do you know?
I was almost always the GM. So I was in the games that I played. So I was always doing the world building, and I find that relaxing. I enjoy that. So even though I'm really not role playing much anymore, I still enjoy the world building and all of that. So
well, Mike, yeah. I'll tell you what. The option is still out there for a little G.I. Joe action if you want to take it over. We haven't played our first game yet after 4 months of discussion. So I'm happy to jump ship if you want to take it over.
On the flip side, did you see the new dice and the dice bags and stuff?
Yeah, I saw them on the Renegade Games website. I didn't buy the dice, but I do like that they have supplements because, you know, I think in general, my opinion on, I don't think a good role-playing game should ever be assuming a DM is going to be, they're experienced in that. I think it should always be, let's give people some things to start with, because what if the whole group is brand new to all this stuff and someone has to step up and run it? Or what if one is a little experienced, but he's always been a player, never an actual DM, you know? So I like when the G.I. Joe has a supplement out already. Many people will say, no, I'm going to do my own. That's fine. Yeah. But I really like when there's stuff out there, because you can't always assume. What happens is if you put too much onus on the players, no one ever gets anywhere. Whereas grab this thing off the shelf, let's just play. Yeah. It's so much easier.
And at the very least, it can inspire you, you know.
Right. Exactly. It'll inspire you. So I like that they've come out with stuff already. And, you know, everyone feels in their mind they can create a better story than what anything else is written. That's fine. Maybe you can. But let's also get to the table and start playing. And you can do that with that book. So I saw, I didn't buy the supplement for that, but I saw it was pretty cool. So very nice. So as for me, I had some family come over, and I realized I don't have as many family games as I used to. I've trimmed the collection down over the years. I mostly have games that involve, you know, sex, drugs, and rock and roll and all the cool things. So I thought I should probably get something. So I went to the aisle at Target, as most do, and there's a plethora of family-oriented games. And I said, oh, that looks fun. Because I'm a bit of a Willy Wonka mark at times. And I purchased the Golden Ticket. And I said, if this sucks balls, it's $19.99. Who gives a fuck? Side note, people that complain about board games and how much things cost, like, if this sucked, it's $20. What can you do for $20 anyway? Nothing. So it's like, I never got that. I have no problem spending $20 on a hit or miss kind of game. And I'll tell you what, spoiler alert, I'd say it was somewhat of a hit. Let's look at some of the fun visuals. you get yourself a Wonka bar, right? And you're collecting these throughout the game through different means. At the end of the game, we eat our Wonka bars. Hold on, stuck in the case. Well, at the end of the game, we eat our Wonka bars. You know what we also do? We check to see if there's a golden ticket back there. If I planned this properly, I would have grabbed one with the golden ticket. I'm never going to find it now. But
Can you literally?
there was a little
it?
moderate setup time in building these because you put tickets behind some of them and you put them in there. And at the beginning, it's like, work as a team, everyone. Like, don't tell me how to set up the game. Page 1, don't tell me how to set up the game. I'll figure it the fuck out. Anyway, there's a bunch. So you have X amount of Wonka bars in play, depending on how many players. I think it's 2 to 5 players, I believe. And so you've got your little character card, Charlie Buckets. I don't know why they didn't put faces on there.
Because they didn't want to show how bad his teeth were. Have you seen that meme?
Well, yeah, but it's
how bad the actor's
and here's
teeth
the
were.
thing. It's either British teeth or too much candy teeth. And we know it's not too much candy because he bought 2.
Yep.
His teacher thought it was 200, but it was actually 2 because he was poor. That's the joke. But you've got within there these little pieces. These are your, money. You get an allowance, you get different money, different things. Here are your pieces here. I was playing Mike TV, and you're basically, there's 9 different places on the board. You set these up in like a 3x3 thing. Apparently the other side's like the advanced version. I didn't do it, but you set these up, you have 9 different spots on the board. You move around from school into the candy shop, into outside of the Wonka thing. This is all, by the way, that takes place before you get in. This is to see who finds a golden ticket. You're not in the actual, place. But you are trying to find a golden ticket. That's the theme of the game. They actually have it in the rules where however many players you have, you subtract 1, and that's how many golden tickets get placed throughout. So there were 3 in circulation inside the Wonka bars. I think it would have been cooler to just have 1, because at the end of the game, when you count them up, you could have 3 winners. You could have also had 1 person grab them all. But if you only have 1, you know there's going to be 1 winner. But like in the movie, not many people get to go. So we actually did have 3 winners. It was split up. All 3 tickets ended up going to 3 different people, and 1 did not get 1. But you're basically traveling throughout the different area. Some of the things you do are there's cards in the game that let you collect different types of candy. Different type of candy do different things. One's like an invisible thing, and anyone who has that certain type gets something. Or one is an exploding piece of gum, and then you can blow up somebody and they lose some of their Wonka bars. So it's a little bit of fighting against each other, looking at who has the most Wonka bars and going after them. Besides gaining money and buying your own, there's other things that you can trade in cards through different things and grab different types of candy. There is an actual candy shop where if you're spending money, you can get a bunch of them at once if you have a bunch of money. So sometimes you got to spend time going to collect money. Willy
Like
Wonka,
Mall Madness, when you got to go to the ATM.
Right. He does float around and he goes to different spots. It's a little weird. So like if you land in the same, if you end your turn on the same location as him, he gives you a free Wonka bar. It's very like, here's some free candy, a little creepy, but that's kind of all he does. There isn't a lot more that he just like moves around on his own. You roll a dice to see where he moves. And if you end up in the same spot as him, he doesn't do a whole lot more than that. It's a lot of mostly battling against the other kids to collect as many. Once all the Wonka bars are bought or collected, the game is over and we open them up and see who found the golden tickets.
Is Augustus Gloop OP?
So good. That's a really good question. So here's how we played. We have all. Let me see. Okay. So they each have an ability. Varuk Assault gets the most money. She's the rich girl. So that kind of helped a little bit. And then her ability was when you draw a card, just any card, gets an extra 1 each time. So she was really good. We didn't play with Charlie Bucket. He's got the lowest allowance because he's poor. Whenever you sweep cards, it's when you play cards, you put them out in front of you, and then you can sweep them up later on and do different things. You get to move one. That's okay. Movement is important, but I played Mike TV. I think he was very underpowered, very UP. If you play certain type of card, he gets to do something. This type of card never came up, so it didn't even matter. Violet was pretty good. Whenever you gain 2 Wonka bars, she gets a free card afterwards, but that means you have to gain 2. If you just get 1, not a big deal. Augustus Gloop. If your hand ever becomes totally empty, you can refill it for free. Normally, refilling your cards is an action, and you get 2 actions per activation.
Because he's
so
fat,
it's not
he always gets more.
right. That he gets fat like he gets a fat ability essentially. So I would say probably Veruca and Augustus were the best, and then I think Mike TV is the worst. The other 2 were in the middle, but it is, there's a good amount of randomization there. I mean, you're drawing cards, and that's what dictates what you do. What I found right off the bat, I looked at the pattern. I kind of like gamed it a little bit. I looked at the pattern of where the tiles are placed, and I only kind of not cheating, but I kind of basically the ones that were on the left and then where you start at. I'm like, I'm just gonna go in this like J, this little like L-shaped loop back and forth. I'm gonna go and collect money, and I'm gonna go and buy stuff. I'm gonna go and collect money. I'm gonna go and buy stuff. And it's kind of like in an old video game where you're like, oh, I found their pattern, like what to do. Now, other things move you. People could, move me to a different spot, like Mall Madness, take a friend somewhere. So I could have got fucked up from my pattern, but I didn't even go to like 4 of the spots. I just I don't give a fuck. I'm just gonna try to get to that candy store and get as much money as I can and keep buying candy. So there's other things to do to get more. I just was like, it seems like get a quick buck and go get some candy back and forth. But you have to have cards that give you extra movement stuff too. I have a feeling when you flip the cards and play the advanced version, there's way more tactics into going to different things to do different things. But in the one game we played, it was pretty easy. But yeah, that's the extent of the game there. The cards are, Figgle Groupers, Juicy Bar, you get some money, you get to do stuff. Invisible Gumdrop, I don't see anything. It's invisible. Anyone who has these can play that to get a Wonka bar. 3-course meal, chewing gum, fudge mellows, golden egg, extra hard rock candy, fizzy lifting drink for those who want to cheat in the game a little bit, get a little high.
Disqualified.
That's right. Overall, fun family game is $20, worth it. If I play it again, cool. If not, not a big deal. I think the gaming Wonka bars is kind of fun because there is the game's over, let's open them all up moment. So I think from an end game scenario, very fun. The game itself is okay, but when you get to the end, it's like scratching off lottery tickets. It's kind of fun. $20, can't go wrong, and you get a dice bag at the very least, a Wonka themed bag. Anything else on our quick hits?
Nope.
Do we like doing quick hits? I think they're fun.
It's good to fill up with some bullshit episodes.
Yeah, because we don't have a lot of games. Last week, we talked Firefight. Again, if you wanted to talk about that, 3 weeks ago, send an email to Xtreme on that so we can get it in the system to talk about it. Next week, I don't know what we're going to talk about. Running out of games. Any games on the horizon? I have the boys game, and I got the Batman Dark Knight Returns game, but I have to play them in order to talk about them.
No, you don't.
You could flick through the manual and you'd be good. 3
Flick?
stars.
Flick.
Is that what we're going to be, like an unboxing show at this point? Just open
Just,
it. Not
it's
even,
just
no.
content.
What
like
if,
a buffet.
some people do unboxing. What if we just did literally open the rule book and read?
Mm-hmm.
And
Chapter
that was
1.
the show. Yeah, Great Gatsby style. I'm like, all right.
Game
I am a
content.
dwarf named Xtreme. Here are my adventures. All right. Well, if that's the show, follow Zlurpcast online, subscribe, Zlurp on that sub button with no lady socks, just straight up bare feet. Why are my feet more seasoned than the chicken? That's what I want to know. more seasoned curlies. And stop by Grognard Games if you're in Roselle, Illinois. You might get a free coaster. You might.
See their new expanded selection.
Yeah, I can't wait to check out the new room. I have not been since the expansion.
It's loud.
They're not a sponsor of the show. We
On
are
purpose.
unbiased.
That's on purpose.
On purpose. He asked, but it was with a caveat.
Yeah, he
He
wanted
said
to
you can't-
censor us.
You can't curse. You can't talk about bodily functions. Can't talk about sex. It's like, Todd, come on.
Can't
What are
talk
you
about
doing?
games with yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't do that. We call the shots, not the man with the fucking bankroll. And that's you, Todd. But we'll talk about you out of the kindness of our heart, good or bad. We'll talk about the bad. We just
I'll
haven't
say
come to
Grognard's
that.
is great,
We'll
and
talk-
Todd is their worst employee.
Exactly.
Let me ask Xtreme, since you stopped by my local store, is Mayhem a better store than Grognard? On the spot.
It's hard to answer that because they had the comics going for them that Grognard's doesn't.
But do they have free sodas?
They're not. Grognard doesn't have free soda.
They
Not
don't.
That's for
only
some
did-
people.
Not
No,
only did they
no,
not have free
no.
soda, but their soda machine was unplugged, so I could buy no soda.
Oh,
Which at Mayhem?
Yes.
Oh, really? That sucks.
So then I went to the counter to see what kind of sodas they had there, and they just had like coffee soda.
Did you
thing.
see all the joke ones they have though?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you want to buy like, a weird like Jetson energy drink or something,
I
That's
thought
a
those had like
warm-
Funko Pops in them or something. Don't they have those Funko Pops
Funko
with
has
soda
that stuff
cannons?
too.
Yeah.
I sent a picture yesterday. There's at my local Hy-Vee has a Bob Ross energy drink because they have
He's the opposite of
little-
energy, though. He makes me fall asleep.
Maybe I'm not going to ever try it, so I don't know.
I had to walk
You
over
can-
to the Come and Go to get a drink.
There you go. I didn't want to put you in the hot seat, Xtreme. Like GW used to put you in the hot seat all the time, put you on the spot. But I am looking forward to going at the new Grognard's new room. Some Blood Bowl. Let's throw some Blood Bowl content real quick out there because we haven't done that in a while since our last plethora of episodes. Any tournaments coming up for you guys?
Gen Con.
Yeah.
Gen Con.
I have one in
Which one at
July.
Gen Con? Aren't there 3 now?
Oh,
Yeah.
there's a lot more than 3.
Which one's the cheapest?
Mike's.
Okay, go there. You go.
Is it Mike's?
What
Because you
was
could
the-
probably play for free if you just show up.
Yeah, because he's not checking tickets.
Well, I get they will base the number of seats I can get next year based on the tickets this year. So I do try to get the tickets, but
But if your goal is to let the other guy take it over, just zero, 0.0.
it's not $60 like the GW tournaments.
They better be giving out teams to everyone who enters
No,
at that price.
I think I read something about either blowjobs or rim jobs. I don't remember which,
You get to pick.
but I read something, a freebie.
You get to give or receive.
Oh, see, I didn't see that one. Okay.
We're all to
There's gotta
receive,
be-
you got to give.
Because Gen Con, you have to buy a Gen Con ticket to get in, and that's already expensive.
Yes, that's
So that's like $80 already, right?
Just for Saturday is $80.
Ugh,
And then 60 to play Blood Bowl.
yeah.
that's insane.
And it's-
$140 to play Blood Bowl on Saturday.
It's 3 games and it's 7 hours long. So you're
That's all you're doing that day.
that's all
So-
you're doing that day. If you're playing 2-hour games,
So we're talking, you're paying $20 an hour, and it is going to be roughly $45 a game. I hope
Yeah.
it's worth it.
I don't get it. I'm actually kind of curious, see what they're actually doing.
Is
but-
it cash prize?
I'm considering changing my badge and doing the Friday tournament as well.
Hmm.
with
Oh,
the
you're-
Cincinnati guys?
Why don't
They
you do all of
look
them?
like they have a good time there, but
Yeah, it's 1 million build, so I think that's interesting.
yeah.
Mike's yours is 1.1.
Yeah, I may actually consider going to 1 million next year just to make it simpler.
maybe 3.5 games split in the middle.
But next year's going to have
Teams.
5 different Blood Bowl tournaments, probably.
I might be going to a July Kansas City tournament, Cornsis Open, 3 rounds and a late start, so it's definitely doable. And then August, I think there's a couple around in Chaos Cup. We're all going to be at Chaos Cup.
Yep.
Biran, you're not playing though, correct?
No, I'm playing.
Oh, you are? Okay, Mike's not.
I'm not playing.
But you'll be around, Mike.
Yeah, I'll be around.
Are
I'll
you
be
the
having a
admin,
good time.
or you just helper?
I'm always a helper.
Okay.
I haven't actually played at a Chaos Cup in for other than throwing in like for an odd man out or something like that for one game.
Somebody, taking an hour-long shit, you got to step in.
That was exactly what happened one year. So,
And did everyone understand he was trying to get out of the game though? He didn't.
Did you have to play
I'm sure
Josh?
I don't think it was an hour of shitting. It might have been like a minute of shitting and 59 minutes on my phone saying, I hope somebody fills in.
Because I don't want to play player X.
I don't want to play
I don't want to play
Sushi
Josh Aldous Snow.
he's player X.
Yeah.
They call him Sushi X. His
It's
identity
a
is
rotating
still-
cast, though.
is a rotating cast. Extreme, anything else for you on the Blood Bowl front?
July, I'm going to Bounty Bowl in Ohio. But other than that, no.
Okay.
Bounty Bowl, then Gen Con and Chaos Cup.
Okay. So we'll be talking about that. Hey, it's content. It's content for the show, at the very least. And Extreme's still playing fumble and still getting irritated by it. I don't know why he does it. It's
You should be in
weird.
charge of checking rosters for all fumble events.
yeah.
But the last tournament I was in, there were 20 people in the North American bracket, and there were like 172 in the rest of the world bracket.
But how many of
So I
those
can
20
imagine.
were not from North America?
I played at least 2, so
Wow. You might be like the US rep at those. Like for our whole country. You might be the chosen one. Because I bet you the other ones are from Canada, the other North American ones.
That
I
doesn't
played
even count.
a couple. I played a guy from Colorado. Strange 19 is his username.
Strange.
Strange. Yeah.
Okay.
Is the North American bracket considered like the junior league?
Sort of. I mean, really, all it means is you're supposed to play within certain time periods, but that doesn't work either. But yeah, it is kind of junior to the big boys.
I think it's a little insulting, but I'm okay with it.
It's also true.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we're
Wish
better
it was.
than them at everything else, so it's okay.
What's everything else?
Gun
Everything that
violence.
matters.
Gun violence?
Yeah. If there was a
You've got
war, we
that.
beat every one of them, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, we might have to test it. I don't know.
No.
At least, at least in fumble, it's relatively safe. No one really gets hurt. Some feelings get hurt. But, Shane, do you lose sleep because it's like weird times or no?
Not really. It just sucks when it's like, well, I can only play on Friday night or Saturday night because I have to stay up late. Like, well, why'd you sign up for this? You could have signed up for the other one where you don't have to stay up late.
Easier wins.
Scheduling is by far the number one reason I probably will never do a fumble tournament again.
Yeah, I mean, when they do the like all in one day normal tournament, I prefer those because you just sit there, your next opponent comes up, you play your next game. You don't have to talk to them or schedule anything. So I definitely prefer those, but those are much more rare.
I don't like leagues either. I just don't, it sounds bad, but I don't want to talk to people. Like, I know that sounds bad on its surface, but I would like to talk to you while playing. Let's have, we can have a little banter back and forth as long as you're cool. But I don't want the stories. I don't want my kid has, I don't need to know.
Come over to my
Your
house
job
and play on the
sucks.
floor.
Well, that's real life, and that's even worse. But I'm like, if I'm scheduling Fumble, I don't want to know about your family problems or your whatever, your work. Here's the time. I'll see you on this day. No more messages. That's it. If you don't show, it's a forfeit. If I don't show, it's a forfeit. No discussion. That would be my league.
If you want to
Here's
call
the
to
schedule
reschedule, no, you've just forfeit. Next game.
Right. And if I can't make it, I take the luck. Like, oh, I don't want to win like that.
You
Just
did.
did. It's over.
Move
And
on.
people, like, it's really weird. Like, and this happens in tabletop leagues too. For some reason, people don't want to win. And I don't know if it's because of not getting money or skills or whatever, but if I'm telling you, you win, you fucking win. We're not playing. That's just how it goes. But for some reason, people get very weird about, oh, come on, man. Let's work it out. Nope. You won. Enjoy. And that's how you got to say it too. You can feel real weird about it. All right. Well, let's say bye.
Zlurpcast! Brought to you by Nuffles. Bet you can't just roll a one.